Now, Geoff, can I get a quick Charli alert?
Ooh, Charli alert!
Because if something does reflect the rotten core of Wuthering Heights, it is the 2 singles that Charli has released off of the soundtrack album. And Charli has announced on her newly established Substack, yes, Charli has a Substack.
Everyone's got a Substack now. It's the new podcast.
Yeah, we're way behind. We got to make a Substack. She is releasing a whole new album, Wuthering Heights, to coincide with the release of this film. And she's released 2 singles off of that album. One is called House, which features John Cale of the Velvet Underground. And the other is Chains of Love. Have you guys listened to either of these songs?
No. Geoff, have you?
Geoff, are you a Charli fan? Listeners, Geoff is actually fired from the podcast.
I think I might be.
This individual is your co-host, Justin.
And Grey Goose got your girl feeling loose, Geoff.
And welcome to Bands. And Geoff, we're welcoming a wonderful guest today. Our guest today is Bridget. Bridget, what's up?
Hey, guys. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're excited to have you. We're having Bridget on the pod today because we're talking about Lily Allen's new album, West End Girl. And if I have heard anybody talk about it more than Bridget, I don't remember, because Bridget has been talking about it so much. She's obsessed with the album. So I can't wait to talk about that.
I am. I after I listened to the album for the first time, I think I texted Justin immediately because I was like, I know that like you guys would have the best takes on it, and I needed a Bands episode. And so I texted Justin. I was like, have you talked about West End Girl on Bands yet? He's like, oh, we talked about it for a minute, but not fully. And I was like, I need a full episode. I didn't think I'd be asked to talk about it. But I'm very excited too.
And here you are, resident expert, it sounds.
Well, we'll see.
None of us are really experts here. That's kind of the appeal, you know? We're all just trying our best.
I'm not an expert, and I will tell you right now, I had a very busy week. I didn't get to listen to the whole album.
Geoff!
I'm going to be so real with you.
Geoff! It's been out for weeks.
I know, but I missed the last 3 songs.
The funniest thing is that, like, when I was at home in Connecticut, I was listening to the album in the car, and Geoff was like, what is this? I love this. And I was like, it's Lily Allen. We've talked about the album. And then Geoff was like, ooh, I got to listen to this. And then you texted me later and you were like, oh, I listened to more of the album and I love it. So it's not like you don't like it. Okay. But luckily I have listened to the entire album multiple times. So, you know, we can have a convo. It'll be great.
And Bridget is a resident expert. So we're in great
shape. Great shape. So Bridget, you also live in DC.
I do.
We've met through the running community here in DC. Shout out Dojo. We'll get back to Dojo more later in the West End Girl segment. Yeah, it's been such a pleasure to run with you. And you and Brandy also have like a really close friendship in Dojo. So it's great to have some of the DC squad on the pod. Although, of course, we've had Ben on the pod multiple times. He's like a 2-timer at this point.
I think Ben's a 3-timer at this point. Bridget, I think this is your first foray. We'll see how it goes. Maybe you'll be in the 3-timers club too.
If I could be so lucky.
What else would you be on the pod for?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I'm that like obsessed with or opinionated. But I think it kind of comes in waves. And this has definitely happened with me with West End Girl, where I like really hyper fixated on it. And I think I do that often with albums. I did it with Sabrina's album, like when it came out. Mm-hmm. And I think for 2 weeks, it was like so the only thing I listened to. So I don't know, give it time and I'm sure there'll be something else.
I have been toying with the idea of like a hot or not running episode, which I have considered, but I wonder if I would like.
You would need a whole panel for that.
Yeah.
Geoff says no.
Geoff gives the no emoji.
Forbidden on the pod. You know where I stand about running.
Yeah, I think we would make some enemies, but it would be a great conversation.
I like it when I am being chased, and that's it. That's the only time I shall run. Don't chase me. Oh, don't chase me.
Anyways, Geoff, why don't we get into some of our hot topics? Because we got a lot of music to cover today. There's been a lot of music released, some of it good, some of it bad.
Justin, I got to tell you about a piece of music that was so good. And Bridget, I'd love to hear your opinion if you saw this too.
Well, this is where I confess to you that while you did not finish West End Girl, I have not listened to Charlie's song, or I don't know what else is on the hot topics list, but
Well,
I told Justin last night that I was stressed and needed to do some homework, and he told me I didn't have to, so then I didn't.
and Bridget, that is 100% the case. Don't act like I'm ever prepared for class. I'm just coming up here vibing, you know?
It's the name of the game.
But there was a wonderful bit of music that was dropped this week, which I did watch last night with our dear friend Hannah. That was the Wicked One Wonderful Night special that aired on Peacock and NBC. Either of you watch it?
I did not watch it.
Okay, a bunch of heteros in the chat. We get it. This is crazy. It was so great. Basically, it was like an hour and a half long special where the cast of Wicked, minus Jonathan Bailey, R.I.P. Well, he's not dead.
I was going to say he died. I feel like we should be talking about that.
He's just busy being the people's sexiest man alive, so he couldn't make it. Which, by the way, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice. Have you seen, actually, sidebar, have you seen the theory that whenever people get sexiest man alive right, that means a recession is coming?
Oh, no.
Well, damn.
Wait, when else has this happened?
I didn't realize this was a bellwether.
Yeah, let me pull up some examples here.
But I mean, I think we can all agree that's where things are headed.
They so often get it wrong, you know?
They've gotten it wrong so many times. Remember when Chris Pratt was sexiest man alive?
Yeah, boo.
Remember when, was it Blake Shelton, the voice guy, the country singer, was sexiest man alive? Okay, so here's some sexiest men alive from previous years.
Give us the
during recession years, okay? 2000, Brad Pitt. I would say accurate.
Yeah.
2001, Pierce Brosnan. That era Pierce Brosnan, I would say pretty accurate. Now, this was, of course, .com bubble burst, I believe. The sexiest man alive in 2009 before the Great Recession.
Wait. Great Recession was 2007, 2008.
2009, yeah.
I don't think it was 2009. I think it was 2007, 2008. But go ahead.
Sure. I'm reading this article, and they frame it as sexiest man alive in 2009 at the start of the Great Recession. You can take umbrage with the AV Club article summarizing this.
And you know I do.
But the sexiest man alive that year was Hugh Jackman, which they're saying...
Hugh Jackman?
Yes. You disagree?
No, I mean, like, he is, like, hot, I guess, like, objectively hot, but, like, I can't get over the singing.
You have also talked about that on the pod. Yeah.
Brad. He's got a mean vibrato.
And he takes on Hugh Jackman, Bridget?
I don't think I have strong opinions about him. Like, I think good looking, it's not like a choice for sexiest man alive that I would be like, why would they pick him? But I don't see it and like think like, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
panties not wet. What's next, Justin?
I'm going to search the history and we can go through really quick. Oh, Mel Gibson in 1985.
Oh my God.
Did not age well.
Barf. Mel Gibson, crazy person.
Ooh, 1997 was George Clooney. They didn't mention that one in the article.
Well, that's because there wasn't a recession in 1997. Famously, the Clinton economy was booming.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like this whole hypothesis is
garbage.
Bunk. Yeah. I don't agree with this. Ben Affleck in 2002. Ben Affleck, very hot in 2002.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck's still hot, even when he's sad boy, sad old dad, you know?
When did they start getting bad? That's the question. 2016 was The Rock, which I think, not a bad choice, but...
I don't think that's a great choice.
A little bit late, I feel like.
It's a choice for the Midwestern moms.
Yeah.
They're like, I have a black friend. And it's The Rock.
2017 was Blake Shelton, as we've discussed. 2018 was Idris Elba, which I think maybe was a correction from Blake Shelton. They were like, okay, let's pick an actual cool person.
let's right wrongs.
2019 was John Legend.
That's so interesting. I think he's like very good looking and extremely talented and charming, but I would never be like he's hot.
He's sexy, feels a little bit.
He's cute. He's not sexy.
He feels like sexy in the way that you would like for like an anniversary night, like he would plan like something like spectacular and like he'd be romantic. The ivories in like a dimly lit golden room, you know, with some champagne flowing and like red roses.
He's singing All of Me, you know, as somebody.
Take it slow. Oh, that's Elton John. Imagine Elton John on the list.
Michael B. Jordan was 22 or 2020. Sorry, good choice.
Panties wet.
Yeah. Paul Rudd 2021 feels late.
Oh, yeah.
But yes. I mean, okay. All right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Paul Rudd is hot as hell, but listen, him and Anne Hathaway, their children would be unstoppable. Anti-aging.
I was like, is there something I don't know? Are they dating? But
no. But if they did, like, their children would look like 30 when they're 65.
Yeah, I feel like he has not aged. And she looks great right now.
I think she got a mini facelift.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm like, sign me up.
I think this is part of the reason why people don't trust her. They just assume there's some black magic going on there. Like,
this is what I'm going to look like.
Listeners, Geoff is doing a manual facelift right now.
And it looks great, right?
It does look
so good.
I'll just get some of that face tape from Temu, you know? The little dot here.
Snatch it back behind your head.
Yeah, pull it back. Hey, everybody. Oh my God, I'll look like Gwen Stefani and all the rest of the MAGA folks.
Okay, anyways, we can get back to the actual topic, which was this TV special, Geoff.
Of course. How could I forget what we were even talking about?
You never forget, famously.
I never forget anything. The special was great. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande were singing live. Everybody was singing live. Bowen Yang sang and danced, and like he stood in for Jonathan Bailey's character Fierro and did the Dancing Through Life. And he was great. It was amazing. I was very impressed. I said, Bowen, I did not know this side of you. Chaperone claps for Bowen. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was like perfectly like twee and cheesy, but very cute. And then Ariana did this great thing in the middle where she did Popular, but she brought this little boy on stage to play Elphaba, because I guess he had like a viral video on TikTok. I never saw it, surprisingly. He was like 4 years old, and he was like so overwhelmed by the amount of people there. It was very cute. She was great with him. And it just reminded me, you know what? Ariana is a theater kid at heart. That's how she started, and that's who she really is. She was just fantastic. And I was like, I think she's going to win an Emmy for this special because she was so good. And famously, she was robbed at the Oscars. So give this woman an Emmy, please. If there's a God.
I feel like this is a little bit Emmy bait because there's not a ton of these like live performances on TV, and it's a little bit of a skeleton crew of a category every year at the Emmy. So I feel like she's really got a shot here for that.
Best variety special.
But she's ready to EGOT. She's trying to EGOT for sure.
As well, she should.
Geoff, have you been an Ariana fan for a long time?
Well, Bridget, I surely have.
Even through all of the different Ariana eras, like we talk about Gwen Stefani changing a lot. Like I feel like you're like a fan of like 5 different people at this point.
Oh, I think you're exactly right. I loved Ariana when she went through her black phase. I loved when she was Latinx. I loved when she was a little Asian for a moment. And I also love her as Galinda. And now she's going back to, she said, brown hair's back.
Does it not bother you at all?
Well, Bridget, I have feelings about this that are maybe unpopular. Popular.
This is a place to spread your unpopular opinions, Geoff. Let's hear them.
Okay. let me try not to get canceled here.
Famous last words.
I think that she has tried a lot of different things, and I think she had an unusual upbringing and coming to age tale because she grew up in the camera and the limelight, and also grew up around a lot of people telling her how she should act and what her look needed to be. And I don't want to take away her agency. She's a strong, independent woman. So I won't say that she was necessarily told what to do, but I do think she was heavily influenced by the people around her. And she may have been ill-advised. I think we've all seen or worked for people who have a lot of yes men around them. And we see that that is not a healthy environment for people to really do their best work. And I think that there might have been some of that happening with her. Is there certainly cultural appropriation? And could she have been like, hey, like, maybe we don't spray paint my body 5 to 6 shades darker than I actually am? Yes. Could she have maybe not done the black scent and just talked like the Orlando girl she is? Yes.
So do you think that the Ariana she is now, like, do you think that's resting state for her for the rest of her life? Or do you think we're going to see more versions of Ariana to come?
More versions is so funny.
More colors. Different flavors of Ariana.
I think Ari has her return to Saturn, as she famously sang on her album. And I think she's like, this is who I really am. And like all those different versions and past ideations of me are part of who I am. But this is me.
Okay.
We also had a question on a past episode that was like, which pop girly is most likely to retire from music first? We kind of agreed that Ariana might be one of the likely ones because she has this acting career and that's kind of where she got started. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes full into like musical theater and acting as opposed to making music. So that's another angle where I think maybe she could be our most authentic self. And yeah, I mean, it's not dissimilar to somebody we'll talk about later, Lily Allen, who also has a pretty checkered past and has a lot of allegations of cultural appropriation in her rear view. So yeah, it is something that I think was really popular in the 2000s and the early 2010s, for sure.
Yeah.
Geoff, what's the status of like the Wicked fandom? Because I remember asking you last year after Wicked came out, I was like, so how are you feeling about the sequel? Like, do you think it's going to be a smash hit? And you're like, well, honestly, like all the best songs were in the first one. So like, I don't know how to feel about the second half. You know, are you still feeling that way?
This is a great question. I think that the fandom, myself included, is thirsty for more, especially after last night and all the teasers that they had. They did have like teasers of the two of the new songs. And then Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo sang with Kristen Chenoweth and the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem. And they did like I guess it's a quartet when it's the four of them singing of the song that's like heavily featured in sort of like the grand opus of the second movie called For Good. And it was gorgeous, and it was a nice homage, of course, because like Chenoweth and Idina Menzel originated those roles on Broadway like 22 years ago, I think. So it was like a nice full circle moment, and so I think that it was great fan service, and people were like, "Oh, damn, this is really going to be good." And I got to tell you, they sounded amazing, and Ariana and Cynthia were both like crying during the performance, and even me and Hannah were like,
"Oh, you were choked up."
We were a little verklempt. It was very cute. I really liked it. And Cynthia Erivo, oh my God, she was just so incredible. They had her, okay, you know that meme of like SpongeBob when he's when he's like being suspended in the air and he's wearing like that long cape with the hat? That was literally what Cynthia Erivo looked like. They put this woman up in the air and she said, "It's me," and they yanked her up and like flew her around the stadium. It was so funny. We were screaming. It was great, but I was like, holy crap, she's such a powerhouse. Like when you're singing and you need like that support from your diaphragm to really sustain the notes, like you need to be fully grounded, like 2 feet on the ground. And this bitch was up in the air, 30 feet, up to the 3rd-story rafters, singing like there's no tomorrow. She said, "I don't need no ground. I got ground in my soul."
She's an incredible vocalist. I mean, I can't wait to see what she does after this, because I feel like this has been like Ariana was already really famous before Wicked. This is certainly like maybe rockets her up into like Hollywood stardom for sure.
Do you mean Cynthia Erivo?
But I think that Cynthia Erivo was not super famous outside of like the musical theater world prior to Wicked, you know? So I wonder what she's doing next. Okay, shall we move on to some more music? Because Geoff, I know you love music. Guys, how do we feel about Robyn? Famous Swedish starlet Robyn of Dancing on My Own fame.
Oh girl, I love me some Robyn. What about 90s Robyn? Show Me Love.
Isn't Show Me Love Robyn S?
Okay, well, listen, there's two. That one I don't think is called Show Me Love, but Show Me Love is like that one that Robyn, who we're talking about, Swedish superstar, did with oh God, what was that guy's name? He did like all those 90s tunes. The Swedish song producer. You know him, Justin.
Max Martin?
Max Martin, thank you. No, but she did a song called Show Me Love.
Yeah.
It was incredible. That was my first foray into Robyn.
Cool. Live fact check. There is a Show Me Love by Robyn S, which is a classic house tune from 93. And then Robyn with a Y put out Show Me Love in 95. So they're both very confusing. Very confusing.
I didn't know Robyn S.'s song was called Show Me Love. I'm trying to think of how it sounds. Sing it for me.
Good try. Good try. You're always trying.
But you never do. And I don't know what you're talking about legitimately. Please help. Fine, I'll just look it up over here. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, see, this is the problem. I don't think I have any opinions on Robyn.
You don't know Dancing on My Own? The all-time classic tune?
Well, I know the song, but that doesn't mean I like have opinions about the artist.
Well, I think this is the interesting thing about Robyn is that she has managed to stay kind of like outside of the limelight in terms of her personal life for her entire career, even though she's been like one of the most influential songwriters. She's like one of the like Swedish influences on like American pop music of like the late 90s and early 2000s.
I didn't even have to hit play. I just saw the cover of the still from the music video of Robyn S. Show Me Love, and I'm like, oh, of course I immediately know this song.
It's like, yeah, classic house tune. So
my God, this would be a fun karaoke song now that I'm thinking about it. Night before Thanksgiving, Justin.
File that one away.
File it away.
But yeah, I feel like Robyn is not really known for her public persona. She's just kind of known as this like pop princess who makes bangers. And she hasn't put out any music for the last 7 years. She just put out a new single, Dopamine, which is a really banger track. I mean, it's classic Robyn, has that throbbing bass line. It's pop dance, escapist dance music. Along with that single drop, she announced that a new album is coming soon from her, being produced by her frequent collaborator, Klaus Ahland, who I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong because I don't know how to pronounce Swedish.
I think you did it exactly right.
Okay, cool.
Famously, I speak Swedish.
Famously. Have you heard it?
Yeah, of course I heard it. I love Robyn.
What'd you think? What'd you think of Dopamine?
I thought it was great.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, no, it's a really fun song. I'm so glad Robyn's back. We need her now more than ever, Justin, because we need like sad girl music to dance to in the club.
Sad bangers. That's Robyn's name, basically.
That's her whole game. And she's so good at it. Like, she does it like no other, I must say.
It's just incredible, like, the level of quality that she's maintained over, like, 20 years. We were talking about when Katy Perry put out 143. Like, she's reheating the nachos, or she was trying to with that album. Robyn manages to kind of stay in the same lane without it ever feeling like she's just reheating the nachos. You know, the level of quality is so high.
Yeah, it never feels forced. It's never trite. She's always good because she's a true artist.
She's always threading the needle.
She is. I'm so here for it. We need Robyn. We need Robyn in the club again.
It's like, I think, a good summer banger, right? Like,
Hell yeah.
I appreciate it being released in November when like we need to like chase that feeling again.
That is a very Robyn mindset.
She said the club ain't seasonal.
The club is not seasonal. Here's one thing I don't like about going to the club in the winter. Coats.
What are you going to do with them?
Horrible.
So many layers.
I hate it because it's like either I'm spending $10 on coat check and then you have to wait, you know, when you're leaving the club, it takes forever to get your coat back. Or you have to like wear it the whole time you're in the club or like find a way to carry it. And nobody's doing that either.
Who's wearing coats in the club?
You can't dance when you have to worry about your coat.
This is some startup idea.
Exactly right.
Who has an idea to fix this problem?
Wait, it's a coat check. What do you mean the startup?
No, I just said I hate the coat check. The coat check sucks too. We need some
way to...
coat
check does suck because they're always like complimentary coat check. And then it's like, it's either totally wrong or then you get there and the person is like...
looking at you being like, minimum donation is $5.
Like,
yeah.
I think the worst part about the coat check is the getting it afterwards.
Oh, the rush.
Often when you're leaving the club, you want to leave. Like immediately. You're not like, hold on, let me spend 20 minutes getting my coat back.
100%. And you don't want an Abby and Alana situation to happen when they screw up the numbers and they have to be like rifling through and being like, is this yours? Is this yours?
I mean, if you end up with Kelly Ripa, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, if I end up with Kelly Ripa's coat, that's cool. But I think the likelihood of that happening is not high.
Pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low. What's the famous line, a hoe never gets cold?
Oh, yeah.
A hoe never gets cold.
That's the other approach, is just don't wear a coat, which I have done before.
Yeah, it does make the waiting for the Uber outside tough.
Yeah.
And yet she persisted.
Speaking of things that are tough, love can sometimes be tough, as is often depicted in the film. Well, the novel, actually. Wuthering Heights.
Yes.
Preach.
Emily Bronte's famous novel that is arguably a romance, arguably a tragedy. Are you guys up to snuff on this film being directed by Emerald Fennell, starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi?
A little bit.
I have seen the trailer.
Interesting. What are your thoughts?
It looks insane.
Tell me why.
Okay, I have to say, the part that I remember most because it was so weird was like Margot Robbie was dressed like a milkmaid for some reason.
It's the 1800s.
Okay, well, I'm just confused about where this takes place because she's dressed like a milkmaid. What?
England.
Yeah.
Well, Geoff, if it makes you feel better, my first reaction when I saw it was I was like, why am I looking at like Game of Thrones, Jacob Elordi?
Yes! Okay, thank you. I was just going to say Jacob Elordi looks like a caveman and she looks like a milkmaid, so I'm so confused.
He looks so weird.
It's very strange.
Well, I think, okay, so the novel takes place over like a long span of time, so I think he's doing some wig stuff. And I think that might be part of the reason why it's odd. like some of his hair choices.
Justin, thank you so much for explaining that he was wearing a wig. I had no clue. I thought it was a small mammal on his head seeking shelter in the Scottish Highlands.
I should never have doubted you that you always spot the wigs. So this is like firmly on the bad side of wigdom and not the camp funny side of wigdom?
I would say it's bad.
Okay.
Bridget, what did you think of the hair?
Not good at all. It was like, it almost lost me the second I saw the like first cut to Jacob Elordi, but I persisted famously, and it got a little bit better. But
just like Elizabeth Warren,
just like exactly the same.
It looks bad, and I'm sorry. What?
You're just summarizing. Yeah, it's bad. It looks bad.
It does.
Okay, and then Justin, wait, can you summarize like what people are saying about this?
Well, I think there's kind of different levels of discourse here, because the thing that I found the most weird about the trailer, I think like it's especially being marketed towards young women, and it uses the log line like based on the greatest romance of all time or something like that. And it's like, have you read Wuthering Heights? Not asking you two specifically, but like, has anybody involved in making this trailer read Wuthering Heights?
And that's why people are saying it's like Wuthering Heights, like in quotation marks, if that's how you're marketing it.
Yeah, I'm curious, because I'm like, are they going to turn it into a more straightforward romance? Are they just marketing it as a romance, even though I think the original book is a lot darker than that? I mean, I guess no spoilers for a over 100-year-old book, but like there's deaths that happen. Like the climax and the finale is not a happily ever after, right? It's not one of those types of romances, right? And I wonder, A, if they don't change it, how many people will go into the movie and be disappointed because of that ending? Or B, if Emerald Fennell, who is the famed director of Saltburn and Promising Young Woman, if she changes the plot so that it's more romantic, or at least, this would be maybe the worst case scenario, like more glorifies a toxic relationship in this depiction of the narrative, which wouldn't surprise me, because Saltburn, while like a very striking and like aesthetically pleasing film, was like pretty kind of shallow, and I feel like not as good as her debut, which was Promising Young Woman, a movie that I liked a lot.
Spoiler, I'm sure you'll be shocked by this, but I have not read Wuthering Heights. I'm not its target demographic for sure, and I don't know how to read, as we've discussed many times on the podcast, but I don't think that this movie looks hot. And I think that they're like marketing it as like, this is a sexy Valentine's Day movie, ladies. Like they're going to hand out splat mats when everybody walks into the theater to watch, you know?
But that's just because it's Jacob Elordi.
Yeah. And like, okay, so yes, I 100%, and I get that. And like, listen, I think Jacob Elordi is fine. However, this looks like, I'm sorry, there's just this one part of the trailer, and I did just have to rewatch it to make sure I hadn't made this up in my mind. But they do like a close-up of like somebody's hand going into the mouth of a dead fish, like sensually, and their fingernails are so fucking dirty. And I'm like, imagine that inside your orifices. Like dirty, grimy fingernails.
Jeff, you really don't have to be doing the
like
the finger and fist miming here.
And then also there's another part where Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi are like making out on this hillside, which like, sure, we get it. But then all of a sudden he just puts like half of his fingers in her mouth and like pulls her jaw down. And I was like, that's aggressive and like icky.
Well, that's
to me
kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
The relationship between these two characters is not unambiguously like a positive romantic relationship in the original novel. Emerald Fennell is like Promising Young Woman was about sexual assault. You know, Saltburn had a lot of questionable sexual interactions as well. So this is like firmly in her lane, but the marketing, I think, is strange given that.
Yes, that is my critique. The story is what it is. The original story is hard to like critique 100 years later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm looking through it through a totally different lens that the person writing it then could never have even imagined. However, the idea of like marking this as like a hot Valentine's film and like really highlighting like the sexiness of it, meanwhile everything's grimy and dirty, I'm like, this feels wrong. And like maybe they're trying to do that on purpose to be like, this is hot, but also it's dark. And that's where the griminess comes in. Maybe they are intentionally trying to do that, but I don't have that much faith in this marketing team. I think that they're just like, hey, let's send it to Valentine's Day. People are going to love it and love to watch that. They'll be finger blasting in the theater.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think, though, that like the trailer, it looks like something
like story aside, whatever, like it looks fun to watch still in the way that like Saltburn was pleasing, and like it was like the cuts and the way that she like frames the scenery, it like evokes a lot of that. I think like it looked kind of similar in that way, and I think it looks like fun for that, right? Like that's half of the fun of watching Saltburn is just like the shots of the estate that they're at and like the way that she frames it, and I think she kind of brings that in here too, and that looks nice.
Yeah, she's an incredible visionary.
And on paper, this movie like works. I'm sure, and this is a Warner Brothers film who have had a couple of like big hits this year, and obviously their marketing department has been doing well with like Sinners and Weapons and
Barbie,
arguably one battle after another. Yeah, about Barbie a few years ago.
Also starring Margot Robbie.
Right. So I'm sure that they're seeing this. They're like Emerald Fennell, Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi, like some of the hottest actors we have working right now.
Literally two of the hottest people to walk this earth on this day and age, and one of the most visionary directors who's excellent at world building. Aesthetics down.
Right. Aesthetics she has down. And I think that it's really comes down to marketing, because I think even with the Saltburn marketing, even there was this element of like, oh, something's rotten here and something's going to go bad.
Oh my God, Justin, yes. She is so good at like depicting like hot but fetid.
Yeah. Right. While it's coming through in some of the shots in this trailer, I feel like WB wants it to be this whirlwind romance movie. They're putting it out on Valentine's Day, you know?
But not fingering a fish on Valentine's Day. We're not doing that. That's a lot.
Let's not.
That's a lot, Nance.
That imagery is a lot. Yeah, that's interesting.
Don't like it. Also, let's talk about corsets for a second.
Sure.
Can we all agree that these are bad and we shouldn't be glorifying them anymore in any kind of film, even if it's like period?
Oh, I mean, I'm so glad to not have to wear one.
Imagine the grip.
Imagine the
Rock. It's crazy. They're literally seeing the trailer. They did to this woman, Margot Robbie, what the doctor did to Kris Jenner. They stepped on the back and yanked that skin forward. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, sorry, but like Kris looks good.
Oh, 100%. She looks incredible. I wish I could look like that.
That's why they're on the back pulling her up.
I wish I could look that good now.
Me too.
Thus this is why they exist. You're like, we have to cancel corsets, and then you're like, but they look sick.
No, Justin, that's not what I'm saying. I was just talking about the strength at which they yanked it. It looked tough. She can't breathe. And then him like undoing it, it's like burdens unreleased, the societal burden and the chastity release because he undoes her corset. And she's like, oh, the sweet release coming into her sexuality, coming into her femininity, Justin, unrestricted, unburdened by the man who is the corset. What you know about that?
That's interesting. I mean, it's a classic symbolism of, feminine oppression.
This is all news to Justin, Bridget. He doesn't understand what it's like to be a woman in America. He doesn't care either.
But you do, Geoff. You really understand.
Of course I do. Vaginas were there for me when penises weren't.
I don't really know what that means.
Delete that. Run the tape back.
But yeah, so famously there's no sex in the novel Wuthering Heights. And Emerald Fennell, I think, is known for, especially after Saltburn, I think, dicks. Like
they're like, Emerald, there's no sex in this, and she's like,
but what if there were? Yeah.
But what if there were?
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm curious to see, whether she just keeps it like steamy but no sex, or if she makes it a lot more racy. My bet is on racy for sure.
100%. Ass cheeks clapped.
Victorian ass cheeks are being clapped in this film.
That's 100% what's going to happen. I think we all know it.
Okay. Now, Geoff, can I get a quick Charli alert?
Ooh, Charli alert!
Because if something does reflect the rotten core of Wuthering Heights, it is the 2 singles that Charli has released off of the soundtrack album. And Charli has announced on her newly established Substack, yes, Charli has a Substack.
Everyone's got a Substack now. It's the new podcast.
Yeah, we're way behind. We got to make a Substack. She is releasing a whole new album, Wuthering Heights, to coincide with the release of this film. And she's released 2 singles off of that album. One is called House, which features John Cale of the Velvet Underground. And the other is Chains of Love. Have you guys listened to either of these songs?
No. Geoff, have you?
Geoff, are you a Charli fan? Listeners, Geoff is actually fired from the podcast.
I think I might be. Wait, I saw I didn't think they were real songs. I thought they were teasers. She posted a few days ago, and it was a shot of her like laying like this on the ground and somebody's like hand or their foot like on the side of her head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that I saw. And the music was like eerie and it sounded like bells tolling in the background, but I didn't know it was like a promo for a new song.
So she put out 2 songs. So she put out first this song called House, which is this like creepy, very tension building art pop song that's mostly spoken word by John Cale, who has this like super deep voice. I think I'm gonna die in this
house. Okay, yes. I did hear that. I don't know if I call that a song, but okay.
It's a song. I mean, maybe you didn't listen to the whole thing, but it's firmly a song.
I did not. You know I didn't.
Also, it's a soundtrack album for a film. So, like, of course, it's like more atmospheric and art poppy than like something like Brat.
I should listen now.
She put that song out first. And that, I think, was to show her fans like, okay, I'm not going full mainstream, like movie tie-in ballad with this soundtrack album. Because then her second song that she put out, Chains of Love, is firmly like a Charli version of like I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, basically. It's like a big power ballad in the Charli aesthetic. And I think both songs are really cool. I think she has like her art pop kind of more avant-garde side with House, and then her much more pop focused side with Chains of Love. And I'm really excited to hear the rest of the album, to be honest.
Well, I'm interested in hearing it. I will listen to it.
You sound a little bit skeptical.
Well, I don't like spoken word. And very few movie soundtracks move me to want to listen to them independent of the visual medium in which they are designed to accompany.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that reason, I am a little skeptical, but I will always give Charli the benefit of the doubt. So I will listen.
I think you got to listen to Chains of Love. That's like an actual just like pop single. You know, it's not a weird atmospheric song like House is.
Yeah, that sounds much better. And of course, I love that it's short, as Charli loves to do.
Yeah, it's true.
Perfect for the ADHD girlies. Comme moi.
It's important. Wait, can you give an example of another album that was released for a movie?
Oh, the Barbie soundtrack. Well, there's a Barbie soundtrack and then there's Barbie the movie, the album.
Right, which is a different, there's a separation between score and soundtrack.
Yeah.
Right. So I believe that this Charli album, while the music will be incorporated into the film, it is not necessarily the score. Right. I think that Charli is basically doing a themed album that is based on Wuthering Heights and influenced by Wuthering Heights. In that Substack post where she announced the album, she says that it was kind of a way for her to get out of her Brat era, which she felt she was kind of stuck in following the success of that album.
Sure.
Kind of the same way that Taylor went and did like Folklore and Evermore as kind of like these experiments in narrative storytelling outside of her own persona, right? And I think Charli is taking a similar approach with Wuthering Heights. I also think of like Daft Punk with Tron Legacy, I believe.
Yeah, I forgot that they did that album.
Yeah, because they like put out a bunch of original music that was influenced by Tron that came out as a soundtrack album, and then that was used as much of the score in the film as well.
Okay.
So like this does happen occasionally.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I'm excited to listen to Chains of Love. I don't know about House.
Bridget, are you a Charli fan?
I don't think my fandom goes as deep as it does for you all and for Brandy, but I like Charli. I think it's been like very fun over the last few years to lean more into that and have more music from her.
It's crazy that it's only been like a little bit over a year since Brat dropped.
I know.
Yeah, it feels like it was ages ago.
But I have like a very distinct memory of like a couple years ago driving home in the car with Brandy, and Brandy was like having a Charli morning and queuing up a lot of songs. And it was like kind of like at that moment for me where I was like, oh, I don't know that like I'd heard a lot of the songs, but I like clearly wasn't as like much of a fan as she was. But I think that was like kind of a moment that changed it for me. And I was like, oh, I think I need to like pay more attention or like enjoy this more.
Dig into this artist. Yeah, for sure. An artist that I think Geoff and I have not really been digging into recently is Miley Cyrus.
Oh yeah.
Girl.
So Miley Cyrus, she just released a single, Dream Is One, that is coming off the Avatar, Fire and Ash, a real film, soundtrack.
Okay. James.
Okay, so I'm assuming neither of you have listened to this single, Dream Is One?
No, certainly not. And I don't plan to.
Are you not a Miley fan, Geoff?
Well, okay. I think Miley is a talented person. I think she's got some bangers, but I have not been a fan of her most recent album, which was a experimental cacophony is what I would describe it
Damn.
as.
Damn.
And I do not really get into the blue cat people of Avatar, the Na'vi.
Me either.
I'm not really into the Avatar of it all.
Damn, you know the name of the species, though. That's impressive.
Yeah, well, they've been widely panned, you know. So, of course I know.
Widely panned.
Well, I am a hater. It feels good.
Yeah, it's me and you agree kind of about the new Miley album, Geoff. And I feel like that's kind of a hot take because it was like relatively well reviewed. It was nominated for a Grammy.
And that's tough.
Yeah.
Because it was undeserving.
Are you a Miley fan, Bridget?
Not really.
One of us. One of us.
Did you know that she put out this album?
The more recent one?
Yeah, the more recent one.
Is it the one that
year.
had flowers on it? Or no, there's a newer one?
There's a newer one than that.
Okay, no.
Let's all, as a society, agree to collectively forget about this most recent album.
But can we agree that Bangers is a great album?
Yes.
Her best album.
Great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And the album Endless Summer that she did a few years ago is also very good.
That was the Flowers album, I believe.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Mucho.
Yeah, the song is bad. And I don't really know what to think about this new Avatar movie. This is the third Avatar movie. Did you guys know that?
No.
I unfortunately did know that this is going to be the third movie.
Well, I think it's important when you hate something, you know more about it than you might need to, because you have to defend yourself and you get energized to do so.
Avatar is such a weird franchise, though, because nobody, has anyone ever met a big mega fan of Avatar? I've never met one.
No.
No, but I have seen a lot of gays dressed as Avatar for Halloween, but it's just because they can, wear a jockstrap and nothing else.
Mm.
Right, they're basically just wearing, a morph suit.
Oh, not even. The hardcore gays are just painting themselves blue. And wearing, perhaps culturally insensitive wigs.
Oh, headdresses? Yeah.
Headdresses and or dreads and or micro braids.
Yikes.
It's kind of tough.
I mean, apparently they're good films, but it's just such a weird cultural artifact because I feel like nobody cares about them. And I can't actually believe that a third one is coming out.
I feel like they take 8 years to make a film. Because I'm didn't this come out 15 years ago, the first one?
2009.
Yeah, that's a long time, bitch. That's a long time.
And then the second one came out in 2021, I want to say, or 2022. This one, it only took a couple of years to put out number 3, which I feel like
A1.
Maybe the second one was only a big success because of the long gap between the first one and the second one. And I'm really I don't want to say worried, but I guess I'm skeptical that it's going to be a success because of the short turnaround between Way of Water and Fire and Ash.
How is your baby? That's what they say in Way of Water. She's talking to some alien whale thing. And she's
I've never seen it.
Baby?
Wait, how do you know so much about this? You're I hate Avatar. Here's a quote directly from the film.
And then the whale says, "My baby is strong." I know about this from Las Culturistas because they watched it and thought it was so funny.
Okay.
It's it's how I do the, I love music. It's they're "How's your baby?" And then Matt will say, "My baby is strong."
Okay, thank you for clarifying for me. Thank you.
That's how I know about it.
Okay.
I'm not interested. I think James Cameron peaked at Titanic. How can you go up from there?
It's hard to argue with that.
Which, I think, was obviously, a technical marvel. And that is why it was such a huge success in movie. It's, not that great of a film, really.
Wait, Titanic?
No, Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I'm talking about Titanic now.
That is this is the hottest take you've ever given.
Wait. You're saying Titanic's not that great of a movie?
Yes.
I agree with you.
Oh my God.
Yes, thank you.
I'm in the minority.
I don't understand the hype around Titanic.
It's a technical marvel and it's a compelling watch, but the actual story to me is not that great. And what I really dislike, I don't really like it when a story is "Let me tell you about a tale that happened many moons ago." And then it goes back in time and then it comes back to
Geoff, isn't that literally how Wicked starts?
Justin, that's very different. That's very different, Justin. Because the story of Wicked didn't happen many moons ago. It was just within a short span of a few years.
Okay, all right. Just a
we
short
were
span
girls together.
Of just a few short years.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it. It's hey guys, let's explore the ocean with our submersible. And then they're like, we think we found the Titanic. And they're like, let's bring the old bitch who almost died on it here.
They
and then she's
those
like,
exact words.
Dropping Le Coeur de la Mer.
I agree. It kind of feels like, when you're like in middle school or even elementary school and they're like teaching you how to like write a short story and they like you learn about like different hooks on how to start a story. That's what it feels like. And it like this is your job. Like you couldn't come up with any better way to start this movie.
It's a frame narrative. This is used in all kinds of fiction.
Justin, it's boo-boo.
I can't believe I'm talking to two people who think that Titanic is trash.
It's not only the way that it starts that I dislike Titanic, but I agree with you, Geoff, that like I find that annoying.
Yes, I'm so glad that you agree.
Listen, if I have one criticism of Titanic, you probably could have taken out the entire present day storyline and just left the past storyline.
Is
and
that not what I'm saying?
But
Bridget,
you're saying that
am I crazy? Is this not what we were just discussing and Justin was defending it to no end?
I'm saying the middle chunk of the film is like, I mean, it's romantic, it's thrilling.
Isn't that romantic?
Sexy. Yes.
Okay.
I feel like the hand on the inside of the car window
is
like
iconic.
It's an iconic moment. Like I feel like a lot of people from our generation, that was like a sexual awakening moment for a lot of people. I mean, speaking for myself, sure. I'm in that group. You know what I mean? I was like, oh,
Justin
shit.
was jorking it.
I was not jorking.
Justin was jorking it to the hand on the window.
How do you spell that?
Jorkin.
Okay.
Jorkin.
Gotcha. I was not jorking.
That's not what I've heard.
Not what you've heard. Who are you talking to?
We were exchanging embarrassing childhood stories about you and Brandy at the wedding. Everybody was talking about it.
Okay, sure. I think Titanic's a great movie. But you said that it's not even that good and it's still James Cameron's best film. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. So you're a big Jim hater.
Okay, my thing about Titanic is it is compelling to watch because we love to watch tragedy unfold, right? Like it's just a human compulsion to watch and rewatch. Even if you know how it's going to end, you want to watch the tragedy happen because it's fascinating.
It's the reason why disaster movies are good, right?
Exactly.
And Titanic
is Titanic about? A disaster movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that I think, and like the technical feats of what they were able to do visually in the mid 90s, like is absolutely groundbreaking and changed cinema forever. Full stop. The story is kind of lame. It's like been there, done that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's like a bad movie. I just don't think it's that great.
You think it's overrated?
It's like what they were able to do visually was incredible, groundbreaking, show-stopping, changed cinema forever, changed history. But the actual story, the romance is like, meh.
I agree.
And a lot of people, I think, connect to that more than the reasons I connect to the film.
Gotcha. Okay, I accept your take.
So I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not that great.
Yeah. I mean, James Cameron
narratively
is definitely a spectacle guy more than he is like a meticulously plotted narrative guy.
Which is sort of how I feel about Avatar. I'm like, it's also cinematically groundbreaking, but not that interesting of a tale, really.
And I agree with you on that one.
About
for
environmental terrorism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is also disaster movie.
Disaster movie. Bad. Very bad. Hot take. I'm against that. Against environmental terrorism. Well, y'all, why don't we take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk about West End Girl.
Good.
West End Girl.
And we're back.
We're so back, Geoff and Bridget. And we're here to talk about the new Lily Allen album, West End Girl, which came out a few weeks ago. This album has absolutely blown up. We try to do albums like right when they come out, but sometimes things sneak up on us. And West End Girl is one of those albums.
Sometimes they're a slow burn.
Well, and I think that's the interesting thing about this, right? Is that when it first came out, it wasn't like that high on the charts, right? And Pussy Palace was out there, but then over the course of like the week following its release and even longer, like it's just continued to like rise in popularity, which I think is unique, right?
Yeah. Things aren't like that anymore. I think a lot of times like it's like huge at first and then like fizzles out and it's like, did that even happen? But this album has some staying power and it is climbing in the charts, which we love.
Well, you introduce some like tea and gossip spilling, and people are hooked.
Oh, 100%.
So for those who are not familiar, this is the 5th studio album from British singer-songwriter Lily Allen, famously invented the dress and Converse look. She is probably best known in the States for her 2006 single Smile, although she's enjoyed continued stardom in the UK over the years. This album is produced by Allen herself, with help from a team of additional producers, including Kaido, Seb Chu, and Blue May. And as Bridget was alluding to, this is a concept album that focuses on her marriage and subsequent divorce from David Harbour, the Stranger Things actor. So before we get into the album itself, I would love to know both of your history with and opinions of Lily Allen prior to this album.
I think I fall into the camp of like the typical like American Lily Allen fan, where I knew her super popular songs, but like not the full extent of everything she had made, and then hadn't really like thought about her in years until this album came out.
Mm-hmm.
I had a pretty decent exposure to Lily Allen. I'm trying to remember what year Smile came out. I think it might have been like 2004?
2006.
2006. Okay. So yeah, I knew I was in high school, but I thought it was earlier than that. I mean, I was in middle school. I'm 29. We had like satellite TV then.
Mm-hmm.
And we had like MTV UK as one of like the channels. So like I used to watch MTV UK because of course I thought that was very classy and like so cool to be
Posh.
like watching like, yeah, so posh to be like watching like the UK version of MTV, because it did have like a lot of different music on it that I didn't hear. First time I heard UK Garage that I can remember being like, oh, this sounds very different than like most dance music I know.
Yeah.
But Lily Allen like had all kinds of gigs there because she was so huge. So she was like hosting shows, and she like co-hosted on like their version of TRL. And she also had these little like almost like a bumper between like regularly scheduled programming where it wasn't like a commercial, but Lily Allen would have like a 2-minute like little TV segment where she would talk about music that was up and coming that she really liked. And it had this weird little jingle, and it would go, Lily Allen! And then it would be like her talking about like whatever artist she really liked.
Damn.
I'm going to see if I can find a clip of it on YouTube, and we'll put it in show notes. But it was great. It would be like, Lily Allen! It was so funny. I loved it. So I always think of that when I think of her.
That's hilarious.
And truly, nobody was rocking the ball gowns and you know tea dresses with Converse like her.
Okay, so I think I'm very similar to Bridget in that I really only knew her like distantly from like Smile and like Fuck You, which I think was a big anti-George W. Bush song around that era. And I really didn't have any idea of her outside of that until this album came out. But then after the album came out, and I think this is another reason why it's had such a long tail, you start diving into not just the events portrayed on this album, but Lily Allen's past, right? So like I had some distant awareness of the fact that she was like really big in the British tabloids, but I didn't know specifically what for. And then you come to find out like, oh, there's like this, you know, affair scandal that she had with one of the Gallagher brothers. Like there was the cultural appropriation stuff from her She's This album, which I do vaguely remember when I was like in college or grad school, seeing some of that stuff on like Tumblr, which of course was like a big place for that, those types of discussions and stuff. So I did have like some knowledge of that, like distantly, but I really had no idea. And after I've kind of gone back and read and listened to a lot of stuff about her, she was kind of like the British Britney Spears in a lot of ways, the way that the tabloids treated her, like all of her relationships, the way that she was like covered by the media, a lot of it was very sexist. And of course, she made a lot of mistakes during that time too. I mean, after this album dropped, I forget what show it was on. I think it was with Andy Cohen, the Zoe Kravitz kissing / assault.
Watch What Happens
video.
Live.
Right.
Ooh, girl.
That resurfaced because of this album. So like there's a lot of stuff that I learned about Lily Allen through the like fame that has come along with this album, I think. So that's like a stereotypical American fan. And I wonder like if British folk, I'm sure they do, like have a different experience listening to this album, having a more thorough knowledge of that background going into it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's super interesting. Like I don't know what the reception is with like that audience, but I wonder if it's different.
Well, I think like Britney, a lot of people in the UK, and of course I'm like speaking from hearsay, but like I think that there is a big fan base in the UK that is like Lily Allen is like my girl, and she was like the victim in a lot of these situations. And especially like this is her first music she's put out in like 7 years since the 2018 album. And that period was when she was going through the divorce with her first husband and had all of those affair scandals that were happening, right? So it feels like she is kind of, at least the public persona that she's putting forward is that she's like, quote unquote, grown up a little bit and has matured and has really focused on her family, which of course she was hoping to start with David Harbour when they got married in 2020, right? So I do think that there is quite a bit of standum still in the UK, but yeah, I'm also curious what maybe people who are not as big fans of her in the UK think of the album.
I'm curious about how she's perceived there as well, because she also, as much as she, like, you know, when we talked about the alleged assault on Zoe Kravitz, but she also used to get herself in hot water all the time for like trash talking other celebrities, especially like other British celebrities who were huge at the time. Like
Amy Winehouse is a classic one.
yes, she talked shit about Amy Winehouse. She talked shit about Kylie Minogue, who's like an Aussie, but kind of same idea.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the Aussies and UK people have like a similar audience and crossover because of the monarchy, you understand? And she also said shit about Katy Perry, if I remember correctly. Like she just like always had like a nasty word to say to people about other people.
Mhm.
That was like obviously like her projecting and, you know, her being like insecure and young. But yeah, it's interesting. I also remember like she used to be really active on MySpace.
Yeah.
Like she used to like,
she had a blog. She used to talk shit on MySpace.
Yeah, people used to like, I didn't ever do that on MySpace. I didn't have like a blog, but I remember some people did, and it was just like truly diaristic. So it's interesting to remember that about her, and she's like now done this in album format.
I mean, it's always been a feature of her as a public persona, is that she's completely unfiltered. And to get into the album, I think that's what makes this such an intriguing listen. Like, I almost don't know how to like criticize or critique this album because it is so different from like Geoff and I think we are both the same in that usually I listen to albums for like sonically first. And I'm like enjoying the music. And then if I really like the album, then I can dig deeper into the lyrics and like what the contents of the, you know, the words are. This album immediately brings you into the narrative with the first song. And it's like, oh, this is about the lyrics. And I'm listening to it like I'm listening to an audiobook more than I'm listening to it as like a music critic, you know? So I have really enjoyed the album, and it has made me listen to music differently in a way that I am not used to listening to music. In fact, I think a lot of the production intentionally is kind of low key to emphasize the lyrics and the narrative, right? And the way that Lily Allen tells this story, it reads like a book. Like it's not like a torture poets department where things are abstracted and you kind of have to do some treasure hunting to identify who she's talking about. She's literally like, no, I found a Dwayne Reed bag tied up with butt plugs and dildos in it in my husband's apartment.
Telling you
explicitly, you know what I mean? So it really feels like you're sitting on the couch with a friend and they're telling you like a juicy story or something.
Yeah, and I think that's what's kind of interesting about it too. Like it's so fun like to listen to for a second time and like pick up on the things you didn't hear the first time. But then to your point of like, you know, approaching it as like listening just like for enjoying how it sounds versus like listening to hear the story. And like we've talked a little bit about how it's had this long tail since its release, but like how long, like once people kind of get over the shock value of the release of the album and like the juicy details of David Harbour and the dissolution of their marriage, like how often are people going to go back to like listen to one or two songs or like I mean, I think that like I have a few songs on the album that I like love and will probably continue to go back to like listen to for a while, but I don't know I don't know, but like I don't know how much I'm going to go back to like listen to it from start to finish in like a year from now or something.
I really enjoyed this album. I agree with pretty much everything you guys both just said. When you said, Justin, that you're like immediately thrown into this world and you don't have time to really like, or you don't have the ability to really just listen to the music, you know, sonically, the sonic composition of the songs, because it is so direct and narrative driven. That was a really kind of new experience for me. I can't remember the last time an album ever did that to me where I was like, oh, I can't separate the sounds from the content.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I liked that experience. It was kind of cool.
I think it's really cool.
It's really fun.
Yeah. And Bridget, to answer your question about like the long-term, I guess, like legacy of this album moving forward, like if anything will stick, stuff gets put on people's playlists, you know, maybe you're not listening to the album from start to finish. I think that some of the songs are best as like an album cut, especially like most of the ballads, because Lily Allen is not really trying to be like a vocal powerhouse on this album. There's a lot of like spoken word almost, or like almost sing rapping in the style of Charli, who was like probably influenced by Lily Allen, because she also came up on MySpace, and she, Lily Allen was probably one of the biggest UK pop stars around the time that Charli was making her name. I think they share this kind of like almost rap like delivery on some of these songs, and they probably have shared influences, both being, UK artists that grew up around the same time. There's a UK rapper named The Streets that I think Charli has mentioned as an influence on stuff like I Think About It All the Time, which I think has a similar energy to a lot of the rapping, the delivery that Lily Allen has on this album. And I think that to emphasize why I think this is more than just like tabloid fodder stuff, because I think it will have staying power. I think there's a couple of songs that have like genuinely pretty fun production and are really catchy, so like they're just good pop songs. And then also I do think there's a little bit of Brat energy in this, because it's not just like shit talking David Harbour. There's a lot of stuff on this album that is like not flattering for her.
Yes, I think there's a lot of introspection on the album.
Exactly. That reminds me a lot of Brat at points, The production is not as like experimental as Brat, and it's not trying to be a dance record.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the self-analysis, the ways that she is not just thinking about David Harbour's kind of like loops and cycles, but her own loops and cycles, I think makes this more of like a character study, not just for David, but also for Lily Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that makes it like a genuinely creative success outside of just like being a gossipy, record.
Yeah.
Do we want to maybe talk about some of the standout tracks?
Yeah, I was going to say, so Bridget, you said that you have a couple of songs that you've been spinning repeatedly.
Gosh.
So why don't we talk about those?
Okay, well, I think most catchy song I cannot stop listening to is Dallas Major.
My name is Dallas Major, and I'm coming out to play looking for some...
Yes! Oh my god, thank you for saying that, because that is my favorite song on the album.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so fun and cheeky, and I think like, I don't know, it captures like, I mean, it's just fun to listen to, but like even like what she's talking about in like modern dating and like being on Hinge and this like different persona, but I think just like in terms of like catchiness, it is just such a bop.
Yeah, that's a really funny one. It reminds me a little bit of Slim Pickens off the first, or not the first Sabrina Carpenter album, but short and sweet.
Never have I been so aligned on the pod.
Yeah.
Never have I been so aligned.
Yeah, because I think like there is this growing pool of songs that is about modern dating on the apps. And I think it's just genuinely, also Lily Allen on this album is really funny. I think that's another thing. And like Dallas Major is one of the funnier songs, like when she says, I'm about to turn 40. I have like multiple teenage children. I'm just under 5'2". And then she's like, does this sound fun?
Yeah.
I think it's very relatable and hilarious.
Yeah, this is my favorite song for all the reasons you just said. And it is fun. And did you guys see the music video for this song?
I haven't seen any of the music videos, but I want to. Yeah.
This one was really good, and it's so fascinating to me. I did not look into who like directed it or anything, but there is such a through line to all her music videos that I've seen. Like this one reminds me a lot of Smile. Like there's like breaking of the fourth wall. It's very like kind of cheeky, and she's sort of like looking at camera like, can you believe this shit? And that is sort of like how she bursts onto the scene. So it's cool to like see her still having the same perspective, even though she has changed so much.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it was like an intentional callback to that original, hit single that like really, put her on the map globally.
Yeah, there are a couple of like references to her past work on this album. I think on one of the last songs, she says, it's not me, it's you, which is the title of, I think, her second album, which was about a previous breakup. So like, yeah, there are a couple of like self-referential callbacks on the album for sure.
Justin, do you have a favorite song?
I mean, I have like a couple of songs that have been sticking with me. And Geoff, it's possible you haven't heard this one because it's towards the back half of the album.
Okay.
But Beg For Me is my favorite song.
Beg For Me is so good.
I have listened to it and I love this because I fucking love
the sample.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why won't you beg for me?
Lumidee, like, come on. What you know about me in 2003 in middle school?
There was a period in pop music where the trend was like, we're taking a pop song from the 2000s or the 90s and we're sampling it in our beat, kind of Kanye-ified beats, the Kanye era of pop music. And this song sounds like 808s and Heartbreak era Kanye, maybe mashed up with a little bit of like Charli-esque delivery. with like beg for me. Like it sounds like a Charli written song. It's not, but like it's easily for me the best production on the album. It's on a different level and the sample is just so good. And there's even that long outro where the sample continues.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Yeah, and it's
haunting in a way.
It's very haunting. And I think each one of these songs is so specific in the context of the album too, right? Like in the context of the narrative that Lily Allen is telling. And this one is really about like, why is she sticking with this guy, even though he's like cheated on her multiple times? And like, you know, she's made all these discoveries about who he is that she didn't know. And I think it also works in the context of the album for that reason. So yeah, this is like, for me, one of the best songs.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Should we talk about the big hit off the album?
Pussy Palace?
Pussy Palace? Yeah, should we talk about Pussy Palace?
Pussy Palace, Pussy Palace, Pussy Palace, Pussy Palace. I always thought it was
my favorite Halloween costume.
Oh, it was so good. People were so quick with it too.
They were so fast. I love it. Let's talk about it. What do you think?
Okay. I love Pussy Palace. I think it's fun, but I think it's kind of annoying that I think people are just obsessed with it because she's saying the word pussy. Right? Like,
I don't know if,
like,
okay.
Come on. What?
So finish your thought.
No. Go ahead.
I think that, I mean, it's not just that. I think part of it.
Okay, right. You have like the whole Dwayne Reed bag thing.
Right.
And it's that's when she's like really going through she's just telling you like how it was. Right. But like in terms of like why people keep like hee like laughing at it, it's because she's like saying this, right?
But I think it's like more, I think first of all, it's just catchy. Like it's just a catchy hook. 1, 2, I think that it is kind of intentionally funny. Like the whole, like, I thought it was a dojo. Like that's a funny line. Like it gives like Mojo Dojo Casa House from Barbie.
Yeah.
It's also like gives like David Harbour's like boyish and silliness that he like does karate. Like apparently he's actually into martial arts. So like it's kind of like she's making fun of him in that way. I also find it extremely funny that after she delivers the Dwayne Reed bag line, she's like, and that's when I started to realize. I'm like, at that point, after you found the butt plugs in the Dwayne Reed bag, that's when you thought that something might be weird. Like, I think that some of the lyrics are knowingly silly and kind of obvious and bad, but her delivery, like, it's like a dry British humor to it that I think makes it just really funny and exciting to listen to. So I don't think it's just the fact that she says pussy, although, you know, I mean, like, maybe people are still 15 or whatever, and they think that that's like...
Okay, you're right. Okay, not just that, but I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, sure. What do you think about the song, Geoff?
I don't have anything additive to say about the song, but I do want to talk about this. Can we as a society come up with a better way to store sex toys? Because what are we doing with a Dwayne Reed bag tied up underneath the bed? But then when you think about it, it's like, well, you know, they tend to be made of like silicone or rubber and like other things that are like, you know, apt to pick up dirt and dust and hair. And so it's like, we need something like sterile to keep them in. Something that's like also of a similar ilk that won't deposit more detritus onto them. You know?
There's your startup idea.
Yeah, there's another free idea right there.
Startup idea. Damn. I need to come up with this. A case for your sex toys.
Well, okay. I was listening to a podcast about it was actually about Lily Allen's memoir. I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to dive really deep into Lily Allen's past.
We love to support other podcasts.
It's like a 2-hour long podcast about the memoir, and then it goes into the album. And they actually had a disagreement. They were like, is it really that bad that like he just had these sex toys in like a Dwayne Reed bag? And some people were like, that's insane that he would just have them loose in the Dwayne Reed bag. And then another person was like, well, it was tied.
I mean, yes, they have a point.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do with them? How do you store them in a way that's sanitary, discreet, you know?
I guess I would imagine that they're in a drawer, you know, not just like...
Right, but how? Like, you're not just going to toss it into your desk drawer and be like, good luck in there. Hope you don't collect up pieces of, like, lint and pencil lead and eraser shavings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or like you don't want it to be on like your underwear, cotton. That's a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
Fiber don't feel good on sex toy. So I do think that we have a potential business happening here. I think that's what's happening. And I think we all agreed we're going to be equal partners, right?
Definitely.
I'll get back to you about that.
I need $1,000 from the two of you to get this started.
Each?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Spend money to make money. Well, maybe we can do merch first. Wow,
yeah,
nobody wants to go into sex toy storage business with me. I see how it is.
Shocking, I know. It's shocking. It's a great idea, though. Any other songs you want to talk about?
I love Tennis and Ruminating.
Ooh, okay. Tell me about Ruminating. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'll start with Tennis.
Okay.
Because I think that one's fun, and I like it like sonically too. So that's when she first introduces Madeline, right? And so there's like a couple things that are happening in this song. It's like the escalation of like who is Madeline? Who the fuck is Madeline?
Hilarious
and like how
delivery.
She captures this like increasingly like anger, and it's so fun.
And who the fuck is Madeline?
Or she's upset that he's like having sex with her woman, but like more so that like he's playing tennis, like if like that's where he's crossed the line. It's that it's not just that he's like having sex with other women, but that he's like doing these other things that should be like for their relationship. So I think it's fun for that. I don't know. I like that song a lot.
I think that's one of the funnier ones. And it goes into Madeline, which actually was the lead single off the album, even though I think Pussy Palace is thought of as like the big hit right now. But Madeline was the first single. And Madeline is also kind of funny because it has this like spaghetti western, like Mexican standoff type music behind it, you know? That's a really fun song too, yeah.
That is fun. And it kind of reminded me in a way, because you were talking about spaghetti western, of the Beyonce song Spaghetti.
Yeah, that's true.
Like it had a similar vibe to it of like a confrontation about to occur.
But that's maybe my hot take. Madeline's not one of my favorite songs.
Damn. Okay, say more about it. Say more about it.
Why?
I don't know. That one might just be like this. Maybe this is where I'm like you, Geoff. That one might be just too much spoken word for me.
Okay.
Like the Madeline parts.
Yeah.
I find that interesting because, I mean, I'll start with a question. What do each of you think about Madeline, the character, as she is portrayed on Madeline? Because I feel like I've heard two different takes on this. One is like Lily Allen is clearly portraying Madeline as like the most annoying person of all time. And then there's another take that's like, oh, I think Lily Allen is kind of portraying her as just like, as like actually pretty reasonable and like a pretty good person.
I feel the latter. I think
I would agree.
I feel that she is like, Madeline's not the problem. The idea of Madeline is the problem. But when she actually talks to Madeline, she's like, okay, maybe she doesn't suck that bad. And it sounds like she might genuinely not have understood the full situation here. And that is what I took from this. And like, I kind of understand the people saying that she sounds like the most annoying person possible because of like her being like, I hate that you're in so much pain right now.
Love
and
Light.
Yeah, Love and Light is like kind of ridiculous. But I don't think that she's like portraying Madeline to be like a villain. I do think that she's like trying to communicate that, you know, this woman is not unreasonable and that she was kind and generous with her to be like upfront and honest about the situation and show like empathy. What do you think?
I don't know if that she's being like kind and generous. I think she's just probably like, I don't know, maybe this is my read, but like she just doesn't really care, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, she had her own like relationship with David Harbour, right? And like that's what it was, and it doesn't really like affect her that much. Like she can be sorry that like she was misled or like maybe like has caused distress for Lily and whatever, like her role in the whole broader thing, but like she's kind of just like, well, I'll tell you what happened. I'm sorry. Like this is what it was for me. And I think that like she doesn't really seem to be that affected. And I think like if you interpret that as like being really annoying, that's fine because like, I think that's like a fair reaction to it. But like I don't necessarily think she's like being like self-righteous or like I didn't find it like that annoying. I guess
I'm in agreement with you too. I actually think that like you're kind of telling on yourself if you're like, oh, this person is the most annoying. I think that like Lily Allen in the narrative of the album is pissed off, and like the fact that Madeline doesn't seem to be that affected does make her more mad. And like that's the intention of the song. But clearly in hindsight, like the Lily Allen that is writing the music and writing Madeline's, you know, text messages or whatever, I think thinks differently than the Lily Allen that was in the heat of the moment being mad. I think you said it better than I could say it, Bridget, which is like, it is probably a reasonable response for Lily Allen in the moment to have been upset and found her annoying. But I also think that like, just because somebody has dealt with it like mentally and seems to be in a better place than you are doesn't make them self-righteous.
Right.
You know, even though they do occasionally say the annoying things like, you know, Love and Light, Madeline, which is like, I think fury inducing for sure.
love and light. Imagine getting that text from your your partner's lover.
From the other woman? Yeah, I'd be like, fuck you.
No.
Like,
love and light? How about fire and darkness upon your home, bitch?
Okay, really quick before we close on the album, I do think that another reason why this album has done well is because it is talking about something that I think is really common in the contemporary dating scene that isn't really talked about a lot, which is this like open relationship as Band-Aid to fix like decaying relationship phenomenon, right? The whole album kind of begins with Lily Allen having a phone call with David Harbour where he's like, hey, can we open up our relationship basically because you're in London and I like have needs here in the US or whatever. And I just find that really interesting. And I wanted to, I guess, get your thoughts on that, both of you.
Ooh, damn, getting deep on the pod. I don't really know what to say about that. And I'm not one who's often lost for words, but this is such a tricky thing because on the one hand, I am like, no, I don't like that. But then I'm also like, well, also if I was away from my significant other for like months at a time, I would be horny, you know? And that's tough.
Yeah, I think it's hard. And I think this is why, like, one of my favorite lines from the whole album is in Ruminating when she's quoting him, and maybe in the same conversation or later. Like, the timeline is like a little unclear at that point, but it's when he says, like, if it has to happen, do you want to know? And it's like, if it has to happen, right? Like,
Right.
if you have to leave our marriage to like satisfy your needs and like be with someone else. And I think that's like kind of it's tricky, right? Like, you want to like give your partner like the room to have what they need, but also like, I mean, personally, like I would want to be in a relationship where like that's not even a question.
Yeah, I mean, what a fucking line, right? As she says on the song, what a fucking line. It's a horrible line.
That part of the album is my favorite by far. It's so
it's
good.
Very good. It's
the
very
fury.
Dark.
Yeah.
It's like very heart-wrenching in a surprising way.
Yeah.
It just feels like a twist of the knife almost. She's very good at conveying like the betrayal and the pain that she's feeling. And the begrudging, like, okay, I guess we'll do this if this is what you feel like you really need, which I feel like we all know so many couples who have experienced some version of that. It may not necessarily be an open marriage, but this thing of like, if that's what you feel that you need to do, I guess that's fine, but I'm not thrilled about it.
Well, and it's kind of an impossible thing to respond to, right? Like
on a phone call. That's the other thing. It's like, why
the phone
call
of it all is crazy. I can't imagine. I think I'd get a new number.
If it has to happen.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
I don't know. I think open relationships are tough. I don't know that I've like even processed this enough from my own personal understanding to like really remark on it in the album anymore.
Well, this is like, okay, yeah, I have a lot of complicated feelings about this as well, because I mean, we've all grown up, the three of us at least have grown up in a society that is like a monogamous relationship focused society, right? And polyamory and open relationships have like a stigma attached to them. So I think that because of that, many of us have formed our values and our ideal relationships around that image of monogamy. And there's a lot of elements of like jealousy and stuff like that come into play. You know, I think that that's fine if you know what you want and what you need, and you know that you would prefer a monogamous relationship as opposed to an open relationship. Like, it doesn't make you a bad person to communicate that with your partner. And in the same way, if you enter a relationship and communicate honestly about opening a relationship, that there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I think that what we see, especially in straight relationships, is people who go into a relationship thinking that it's monogamous. And then, like, as the relationship deteriorates for reasons that have nothing to do necessarily with the monogamy, they're like, let's open it up because I think that me having sex with other people will solve the problem. And like, it's a bad faith argument because, I mean, even in the context of this album, David Harbour really only opens up the relationship after Lily Allen leaves to star in a play in London, which he seems to have like jealous feelings about, just like career wise.
Have you seen The Note?
Oh, Say more.
Wait, no.
The note. Have you guys seen this?
No.
Of like after I don't remember exactly like the timeline, or after it was like maybe like her first show or something, he sends her flowers and there's this note attached to it. Wait, let me pull it up because I don't want to butcher it.
Oh no, this feels bad.
It is, and it's like this is like I think the fun part of like why the album continues to like be so popular is because of all these like nuggets that people keep pulling up. Like, I mean, we haven't talked about it either. Like the Architectural Digest house tour.
2 of them. There's 2. One of them is the Pussy Palace. It's crazy.
I need to dig in more because I never watched their house tour. I did see it because I subscribed to AD, but I didn't like look at it again in the context of this album now.
It did not age well because David Harbour makes some like cheating jokes at the beginning, and then like they're like always very separated, and like he's not laughing at any of Lily's jokes, and it's like really, I mean, it's easy to overread, I think, in this particular circumstance, but for that reason, it's like it didn't age well.
There were signs.
Has almost 10 million views on YouTube now. Like it's absolutely blown up.
I have to watch this immediately after we get off the air.
He sent her flowers, and this is the note attached to it. My ambitious wife, these are bad luck flowers, because if you get reviewed well in this play, you will get all kinds of awards, and I will be miserable. Your loving husband.
And she did win the Laurence Olivier Award for this, I believe.
Crazy. I think she was nominated. I don't think she won.
Okay, nominated.
But that is crazy behavior. It's also not funny.
He's a child, you know? Like, I think that's what, if anything, you come away from this album thinking. And, like, if you do the deep dive and you watch the Architectural Digest videos, like, he's just kind of a man-child. Doesn't seem very well adjusted, yeah.
And he inspired Sabrina Carpenter's song.
As we all know, yeah.
It's lore. It's part of the lore. Another
part
reason
of the
the
lore.
album's doing so well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Bad luck flowers. If you get nominated, I'll be sad.
You can't just like ad hoc open a relationship is kind of what I'm saying. And I think that like people who have been more successful are people who have more intentionally already eschewed the stereotypes associated with like relationships. And those are like, you know, LGBTQ folks for the most part. I think I'm way more skeptical of a straight couple that is like, oh, we're going to open up our relationship than I am of like a queer couple who are going into a relationship being like, oh yeah, we're polyamorous. And we've kind of already communicated about that. And
okay, wait, but there is a big difference between having an open relationship and being in polyamorous relationships.
That's true, yeah.
Because like an open relationship, as I believe it and I understand it, is like you have your relationship and then you're allowed to have like sexual dalliances. And I'm sure that there's like a different spectrum of rules and thoughts about how to approach that. But to me, polyamory is like you have your relationship, like a primary relationship, and then you can have secondary or tertiary or multiple people involved in a relationship. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
I've talked about this on the pod before, so I'm sorry to beat this drum once again, but everybody needs to watch Couples Therapy. It's available for streaming on Paramount Plus if you have the Showtime app. You can watch it there too. It is the best show, and it is so interesting to see how many different kinds of relationships there are. I was like, I think I know it all. I saw some shit on there I've never even considered in my mind, and I think everyone needs to broaden their horizons and take a dip.
I shouldn't have compared polyamory to an open relationship because, and the thing is, ultimately,
I know what you meant.
Whatever label there is on it, it's mostly just about open communication and honest, good faith communication with your partner, I think.
Sure.
And I think in a lot of relationships where you're kind of just like last ditching, hey, let's try and like sleep with other people, that's not open communication. It's kind of just a last ditch effort, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or it has selfish motivations. You know, I think that like the other side of this is that you can just in bad faith say like, oh, let's open the relationship. And what that really means is like, I just would like to be seeing other people, you know, and I don't have the courage to break up with you.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
That is tough.
So what's the verdict? Good album? Great album?
Great album.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's interesting is that, like, we didn't even really touch on, which like, we don't have time to or need to do, I think, because, like, content-wise, this album is so rich. Like, I think everyone should listen to it at least once, and I think you'll be thrilled that you did. But, like, sonically, it's also, like, I think it's got, like, a high production value. I think there are some really catchy songs. There's some songs that are almost like it feels like you're in a play, or it's like a symphony, or more like an interlude than a true like full song with a structure, with a chorus and verse kind of structure, which I kind of enjoyed the variety. This album, I feel like I never knew what was coming next, and that was part of the fun of it.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's another reason why I like it better than something like Tortured Poets, which is like also about breakdown of a relationship, but that all kind of sounded samey. And this album, while the production is not like in your face all the time, like it does have a bunch of different genres in here. Like there's a UK garage song, Relapse, that's pretty cool. There's like a couple of hip hop, like there's that Kanye sounding song, Beg for Me. So like
Beg for Me.
There's enough diversity in the production that it keeps you attentive and entertained without it being, without it taking away from the narrative that's being presented by the lyrics, So yeah, it is walking a tightrope on that way. And I think it's good. I think it has some pretty strong chances of being nominated at the Grammys next year, honestly, which would be cool.
Yeah, this album is getting a 8.5 from Geoff.
Is that a high score for Geoff?
It's pretty high.
It's pretty high. Pretty high. I think I rated Sabrina's last album at 8.5 as well, which I do enjoy and have listened to multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Yeah, I think there's so many songs, and it's kind of what you both are saying, where there's so much variety and they're so different and interesting. But like there are a bunch of songs we didn't talk about that are just like so good and fun to listen to, and the way she tells the story, and also like the way her accent shines through too is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun album to continue to listen to.
Yeah, it's just her persona of like, I've seen all this shit before. Like I've done a lot of this shit myself, and like, can you believe this shit?
She's an imperfect victim.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is kind of like she's very low key about it, not trying to be dramatic about it, but also you can tell that she's hurt by it, which I think is like in real life how a lot of people respond to this and what makes it feel real and raw.
This is an extremely unique situation, but I think it's why when you listen to it, like it hits home and you can relate to like the feelings that she is experiencing.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. All right, well, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back with a few recommendations for you guys. And we're back.
We're so back, baby.
Lily Allen. Damn, what an album. Pretty cool.
What a comeback, by the way.
Yeah, didn't even talk about, her first music in 7 years, and her last 2 albums were not super well received, I think, so pretty cool.
This one is. Metacritic has it rated at 8.4. I looked up during the break.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Pretty close to your score, Geoff.
Very close to my score.
Finger on the pulse of culture over here.
I try. But Justin, I also try to consume a lot of media. I don't always, meet the mark.
Uh-huh.
For instance, this week, not listening to the entire album. I did miss the last, 2 or 3 songs. But I always do my best. But thankfully, I have you here. Because you can help me understand what's going on in culture. What's really worth my time. In other words, what's good?
Well, Geoff, I have been watching a TV show. This TV show is Pluribus. It is on Apple
this
TV.
TV show you will not stop talking about.
I'm obsessed. I've been trying to tell everyone that I know about this show.
Good.
It's on Apple TV. It is showrun and created by Vince Gilligan. It stars Ray Seahorn, who I have learned I have been mispronouncing her name in previous episodes, so sorry to Miss Seahorn. But it stars Ray Seahorn, who was also in Better Call Saul. A big part of this show is that it helps to not know what's happening going into the first episode. So I'm going to try to spoil as little as possible here. But we have talked about the trailers and the teases on the pod before, so go and watch those if you're curious about a couple of hints. Just a very high level pitch, I think, that I would give is like Invasion of the Body Snatchers originally came out during the Red Scare. And it was like an allegory for people who could be anywhere that are commies, basically. And this show, Pluribus, asks the question, what if the aliens actually make some good points? In the show, Ray Seahorn plays somebody who is kind of positioned against the body snatchers. she's somebody that struggles to find happiness in her day-to-day life, despite the fact that she's very successful. And she rubs up against this faction of folks who have, in an apocalyptic event, been turned into these like very customer servicey, almost AI sounding people that their entire drive is to make Carol happy. Carol is Ray Seahorn's character. Listen, this is one of those shows that every single thing that I encounter, I'm like, this reminds me of Pluribus because of this way. Like, it reminds me a little bit of AI. It reminds me a little bit of like our political polarization in this country. It makes me think about like, why isn't happiness just getting everything that you want? Is the squeeze, like the work of the squeeze, does it make the juice taste better? You know, there's a lot of like philosophical questions about the nature of humanity that are presented by this show. Mm-hmm. Just a couple of like superlatives that I can throw around is that the pilot episode is truly one of the best pilots I've ever seen in like the history of television. I was like riveted. I could not look away. It reminded me a lot of like the Lost pilot. Ray Seahorn is giving an insane performance that she's like going from terrified to grieving to like giving a really great comedic performance. The show is also really funny. It reminds me a lot of many of my favorite shows like The Leftovers. It reminds me of The Good Place.
Yes.
I just have a strong feeling that this is going to be like the next show, like the next big show. I mean, part of the reason I've been talking about it so much is because I've been trying to get all my DC friends to like watch when the new episodes drop on Fridays. Like I'm excited to watch the weekly drop schedule, which I think is the right move as opposed to dropping it all as one bingeable unit. I also think that Apple TV did an extremely good job at marketing this show because they gave away very little. And part of the thrill of watching the show is that you really get the sense that it could go in any direction at any time. Like anything is possible.
Yes.
In terms of tone, in terms of narrative, in terms of subject matter. So yeah, this show rules. Everybody should watch it. It's called Pluribus and it's on Apple TV now.
This show rules.
It's so good.
By the time this show comes out, there will be 3 episodes out, I believe. So you can catch up easily.
As a DC friend who has been influenced by Justin to watch the show, I'm very happy. I watched the first episode, or I finished the first episode last night, and I'm so hooked. It's so good. But again, Geoff, I was saying to Justin earlier that oftentimes I'll just take his recommendations blindly without looking into anything at all. This happened when we went and saw The Substance, and I had not even seen like a trailer. Justin was just like, I really want to see this movie. Does anyone want to go? And I was like, yeah, of course. Justin has great taste. I'll go see this movie.
Oh God, don't inflate his ego.
And then I sat down. I was like, what the fuck did I just sign up for? This is horrible.
Yeah.
And I kind of did it with Pluribus, but I'm enjoying it.
This one turned out well. Yeah, I'm also really enjoying Pluribus. I started the 3rd episode, but I did start it at like 2:30 last night, so I did fall asleep.
Holy shit, damn. Okay, night owl.
I was up late. Well, I had coffee at like 3 o'clock, which I haven't done in a long time, and it certainly kept me wide awake all night long. So I'm operating on 4.5 hours of sleep here. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great pilot. I agree with you, and I've been hooked, and I can't wait to watch the 3rd episode in full, and then the 4th episode later tonight. It's going to be great.
I think the 4th episode isn't out until next Friday.
Okay, it's a Friday release. For some reason, I thought it was a Sunday. Well, I can't wait for the 4th episode next week. I'm sure it's going to be great. Bridget.
Yeah, speaking of great, Bridget. It's been a pleasure having you on the pod.
It's been a total pleasure.
Fun. Okay, my what's good is maybe something like less specific, more general, but my obsession of the week has been, stay with me for a minute, has been the British 800-meter runner, Keely Hodgkinson. But that has led me to rediscover YouTube and long-form vlogs, which I feel like I used to watch a lot of when I was like in college and in high school. And as I have had more brain rot and only watched short TikToks and Reels for the last few years, have gone away from. But becoming obsessed with her this week and starting to watch her vlogs has kind of like resurfaced this for me. And I think this also kind of relates to like, again, something else I've been talking about so much for the last week or two is everyone bricking their phones, which I'm going to start doing. So I think like as part of that, I think it's bad because I'm like, oh, I'm going to like replace watching like TikTok or like scrolling on Instagram with like watching YouTube, which like kind of defeats the purpose if I like brick my phone from social media to then just like replace it with something else. But I do think it's like kind of fun to like return to that, and they're like it's just a different experience, and like I don't know, it feels like more human and like intentional in the way they like tell a story. But I think that that's kind of been like my like I guess like 3 what's goods of the week is like becoming obsessed with her, becoming obsessed or not obsessed, but like rediscovering YouTube and like vlogs again. And then I'm going to start bricking my phone.
Are you going to start bricking it with like the little tool, like the square?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you order it already?
Yeah.
It's a big commitment. Okay.
I know.
I am going to circle back with you because I do want to know what the experience is like. I want to know if it's frustrating, if you're happy you did it, if you find that you are like unbricking it.
I'm interested to see. I was talking to one of my friends about it who kind of like, I don't know exactly what it looks like on your phone because like I have one friend who like it shows like a timer of how long it's been that your phone has bricked. And so for her, it's like a game where like she's playing against herself where she's like, how long can I like keep my phone bricked? Like she doesn't want to break the timer. And so I think that's like kind of motivating. I don't think everyone has that, so I don't really know. So I am curious to see what it's going to be like. But I also think that like I have been better in like recent months about like not being on like scrolling so much. I think it's also just a matter of like when I'm busier with like work and life where like my phone addiction comes in waves. So, but we'll see. I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm nervous to take the plunge, but I think for me, I won't be doing the actual brick. I think I do want to do that thing where I connect like an old like landline style phone to my cell phone so that I can only call. I can't like be on social media. But I also think that if you are going from like short form social media to long form, I think that is an improvement because I think
Right?
part of the
I think
reason,
so too.
yeah, I think we've just like been so conditioned to like immediate gratification. So as long as you're not using like the search bar dragging to like the spike of attention and views on the YouTube video, I think you're making steps in the right direction. Back to brain rot 1.0.
We talk a lot of shit about social media on the pod, but like I do think YouTube is like one of the last bastions of like the 20 teens era internet that everybody was like, yeah, this rules, because there's a lot of good stuff on there. Like I follow a lot of like video essayists that make like 45-minute long video essays about like some film or like, you know, stuff like that. And that kind of content it's kind of the only place where you can make that kind of content and for it to be successful and like for people to make money and a career out of it, as opposed to like you have to be, I mean, YouTube has its own issues with the algorithm and like trying to make clickbait and stuff like that for sure. Not discounting those issues, but it is like 10 times better than something like, you know, TikTok, where a lot of it is just like, look at me squash this goo with my hands. And it is like, you know, people are making insane amounts of money off of that type of content. Yeah. So yeah, good luck.
Best of luck.
Well, Geoff.
Yes.
We've talked about a lot of great stuff this episode. Much of it, things that you have not actually fully consumed. Actually, all of it, question mark. The 2 Charli singles, the Lily Allen album. Yes. I would love to know about something that you wholeheartedly endorse and what's good with you this week.
Well, Justin, I would be thrilled to tell you and Bridget and the listeners, dear, about my newest favorite obsession, which is back, baby. It is Divine. I am so excited about this. Everybody who knows me or has known me for a while knows that I was a huge fan and early adopter of the social media platform Vine back in the day. And I am thrilled to tell everyone who does not know, because they're living under a fucking rock, that Vine is so back. It is being rebranded as Divine.
You're kidding.
It's being funded by Jack Dorsey, who famously started Twitter before it became the hellscape that it currently is. And my favorite part of this relaunch is that they have taken 100,000 of the best performing old archive Vine videos and reposted them on the app. And they have banned generative AI content. There's not going to be any AI slop allowed on this app. People are able to make their videos. It's still going to be short form, 6-second videos. I'm fucking thrilled about this. This is like the OG TikTok era is back.
Bad time to be bricking your phone.
Oh my God, I'm going to be the biggest hypocrite secret ever because here I am saying I'm going to go back to like long form content and you're telling me Vine is back?
Vine is so back, baby. Divine.
I'm returning the brick.
Gorgeous. D fun.
The brick's going back.
I loved Vine so much. This is huge news.
This is huge and true.
It is true.
I'm so excited about it. Justin will be thrilled to know that I've done a lot of research to inform this opinion and assertion that it is back to. I've looked at CNET. I've looked at MSNBC. There are other reputable news places, the rest. It is a real thing.
I also looked this up. I mean, is the app available right now or is it soon to be available?
Well, Justin, that's a great question. I'm going to look right now and I'll tell you in real time. How's that?
Okay.
How's that?
I'm very excited for this, even if it's just an archive of Vines. Even if it's just a place where I can go to watch old Vines, that's still pretty cool. But I do worry about like the functionality, depending on who's making it. Like, I know it's funded partially by Jack Dorsey, but I don't know what, company is like actually writing the code and making the product. So I do wonder about like usability and...
It is not yet available.
Okay. Any timeline for when it'll become available?
It says Divine app is currently in beta testing and can be downloaded on iOS and Android. Well, that's not true. At least it's not on the Apple Store.
Right. If it's in beta, you probably have to have like a dev state. Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite Vine?
Favorite Vines?
Yes.
I think one of my favorites is probably the one of that girl who's like doing this with her head and then she turns around and has those glasses on.
Iconic. I really love the one of it's just like some dude, maybe a coach or something. He's standing in like the empty bleachers in a football stadium and there's like a practice happening and he is looking at the practice and then he looks at the camera and he says, "What's better than this? Just guys being dudes."
You do love that.
There's so many iconic sound bites from Vines.
Talk about long tails. Like, there are comedians that started on Vine that are now like major movie stars. Like, remember Lamorne Morris? Like,
yes,
pre-New Girl. That's kind of where he made his name. Emmy winner.
What's another? I love the Free Shavakadu one.
Oh yeah.
Free Shavakadu.
Or Road Work Ahead.
Yes.
Sure hope it does.
I also love the one of the guy who's like, I think he throws the frisbee intentionally really far, like over a highway, and his friend just goes off camera. "What the fuck, Kyle?" It's so good. Oh my god. I'm so thrilled this is back.
All right, well, this has been a really fun episode. Bridget, thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to have you on again if you have a strong interest.
No, thanks so much for having me. It was so fun.
It's pretty chill here on the pod, We're vibing.
We love to vibe on the pod.
So fun to see you both.
Yeah.
Justin, I see you all the time, which is truly a gift. But Geoff, I don't get to see you so much, and it was so great to catch up with you.
Bridget,
I wish I saw you more.
Too. I know. I'll get down to DC more often.
Bridget, so friendly. It's nice to have a friendly face on this pod as opposed to Geoff, who's always trying to bring me down.
Well, Justin, someone's got to keep you tethered.
So true.
None of these folks in DC, they don't know the real you. They see this new idealized version of you. You didn't know this kid when he was a candy goblin.
I'm still kind of a candy
we were just
goblin.
talking about this last night.
Yeah.
We were talking about 5-pound bags of candy, and Brandy's like, Justin like crushes those on his own.
Yeah, he would eat it in like a day, if that. Mm-hmm. More like 3 hours.
I actually physically can't open a bag of candy and not finish it. It's just like against my biology.
It's in your genetic makeup.
Yeah. Wow. Well, listeners, we'll see you next week when we're going to be talking about Wicked for Good.
Oh my God, I forgot we're doing that, and I can't wait. It's going to be great. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
This has been Bants with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by Geoff Taylor and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by Geoff. Editing by me. The theme music for Bants is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify. And tell your friends. Bye.
Bye.
Expected you to be a Titanic hater.
I just don't. It's so long.
It is
I don't
long.
think the story's that good. Also, like, you're really falling in love in like that time frame.
Wow. Okay, I guess romance is dead.
Yeah.
They're like in their early 20s.
Yeah, but this is like classic cruise ship story, right? Where like you're trapped and you fall in love and like you have your cruise ship crush and then you come back to real life and it's like, oh, that was just, it's like summer camp.
I mean, you're right, but it's a movie. We romanticize those crushes, you know? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Do you like any romance movies?
Yeah, a lot.
Like what's a fave? I mean, The Notebook is like the classic one.
Oh, dude, this is like my embarrassing confession. When I was younger, I was the biggest Nicholas Sparks fan. I read every single fucking book he wrote.
Oh, you read the books?
Which is like,
okay.
oh, Justin, I was a reader. I'm so glad my parents have like moved multiple times and my mom has like gotten rid of stuff, because if you were to go back to like my childhood bedroom in like high school, it was just a shelf of Nicholas Sparks books.
Damn, okay. So you like The Notebook.
Okay, well, here's my confession. I've never seen the movie. I only read the book.
That is crazy. That's so crazy. The movie is like the only reason I know anything about Nicholas Sparks. And then there were like, a dozen other movies.
Well, and he's kind of crazy.
The author?
He's like super conservative.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's a bummer.
Which is why it's like embarrassing to me to like admit that I loved him so much, because he's like kind of kooky.
Who's kooky?
Nicholas Sparks.
We're talking about other romance like films and books, and we were talking about The Notebook.
I confess, Geoff, that I've never seen The Notebook, but I've only read all of the books.
I was like believe this.
That's what I said. That was my reaction. The Notebook is like, just for cultural references, I feel like an important
If I'm a bird, you're a bird.
Exactly.